I just want to talk a little bit about the US elections. I think for the first time in my life, I'm actually going to stay up and watch the results come in tonight. I've never previously been interested enough to actually stay up and watch it. I'd always, my whole life, I've stayed up for every UK election. Since I've been a kid, I've stayed up and watched the results coming, so I just find it so interesting. But even though I know the US election is really, really important, I've just never previously found the candidates interesting enough, and I've never just found, had enough interest to actually stay up and watch the whole thing. That has changed for this one just because I think it is so, so important that Donald Trump wins this election. And I never thought I'd find myself saying that because I'm really, I've never previously been a Donald Trump fan at all. I really disliked a lot of his rhetoric going into the 2016 election, particularly with the stuff around Muslims and a whole Muslim ban from America and things like that. I thought that was really, really over the top. But to be fair to him, he rode back on a lot of. I think his bite was worse than his bark was worse than his bite when he actually got elected. He rode back on a lot of that stuff, and the first speech he made about being a president for everyone, I thought was actually a really, really good speech. And like I say, he did do an amazing job for the country. The economy really flourished under Donald Trump, and unemployment came down. So, you can't sit there and say he wasn't a good president for those 4 years. Certainly in terms of prosperity and, economic success, the country did very, very well. But, the real reason I think this is so important, this election, is because Kamala Harris must not win. I think her ridiculous woke ideology and everything that she represents, the worst, absolute worst parts of the left, with them championing diversity politics and allowing men to compete in sports and giving sex changes to male prisoners and putting them in female prisons and things like that. I mean, it's just the very, very worst things that the left stand for. I mean, they always mess up things economically. You can pretty much take that as a given, but I think it's far, far worse and more dangerous is the nasty, dangerous woke ideology politics. This World Economic Forum BS. They are coming after free speech, and I think Kamala Harris stands for that probably more than anyone. I don't think Twitter will be safe if she wins the election, put it that way. And then there's Donald Trump, but like I say, I'm a man I never previously liked. And, one of the main things for me that, I believed was all these historical sex allegations against him. I thought 27 allegations of rape, which is what you'll find if you Google him. You can't really, there's no way you justify that. You've got that many allegations, but then of course when you sort of read through the media lies and you look into them, 25 of them weren't rape allegations, they were historical allegations of forced kissing and things like that, things of that nature. Very, very difficult to disprove, and of course they're not actually rape allegations. Historical allegations like that of forced kissing, like I say, they're very, very difficult to disprove. There are 2 rape allegations against Trump, supposedly. One came from his ex-wife, who said that she never said it, and she's unequivocally denied that she ever said that, and it's not what she meant at all, and that she said now that Donald Trump didn't rape her. So that just leaves one allegation. That came from a lady called E. Jean Carroll, who is just not a credible witness. I mean, there's that famous clip of her on CNN saying that she found rape sexy and that people find it, people think of it as a fantasy, something, that something people find as a turn on. And then she starts flirting with the male presenter. It's a very awkward and uncomfortable clip. And her claims, I just don't find them credible. That does not mean they're not true. You can never know for sure what went on. And you can never ever know if someone's telling the truth or not really. But her claims that she sort of stumbled into him in a lingerie shop and that they went into a changing room together and she asked him to get naked and put on a body stocking and then he sort of forcibly touched her. I just find it very, very implausible. I find that very, very difficult to believe. And like I say, she just really just does not come across as a believable or credible witness. And you can see, a lot of these allegations come up. These allegations for her came 25 years after the event in her book that she was trying to sell. And a lot of these allegations, they always come. There was one recently about unwanted touching that came again a week before you've sat on it for 30 years and you announce it a week before the president election. It's very, very convenient, isn't it? That's obviously not to disparage any victims. You never know for sure. People are genuinely a victim. That's really, really bad. But I don't find these allegations credible, especially not obviously the more serious ones. And you can see the way the media love to manipulate things. I mean, that clip's gone viral recently about him talking about Liz Cheney and putting her in front of a firing squad. And of course, everyone's, the left are absolutely aghast. But of course, that's not what he actually said. That's just what the media reported he said. If you watch the entire clip, he talks about her being a warmonger, someone who's spoiling for war. And he said, put a rifle in her hand, put her on the battlefield when she's got the rifles facing her and see how she reacts. So that's what he actually said. He didn't say anything about putting her in front of a firing squad. It's just the way the media have cut and edited it so it looks like that's what he said. Same thing with, a couple of years ago when he said about the automobile industry, or a year or so ago, he said, there's going to be an absolute bloodbath if I don't win the election. But of course, when you see the whole context, the whole clip, he's talking about the automobile industry and talking about how China dominance of it'll be a bloodbath for the American automobile industry. That's what he actually said. But again, the media completely misrepresent that. There was a BBC article the other day. Now, the BBC are taxpayer funded in the UK and they have to be neutral. and they had listed out all the policies of Trump and Harris, and under every single Trump policy, they had a little disclaimer about why it's actually bad. It was so ridiculous and partial, and it's the same thing with the vast majority of the American media and all these ridiculous celebrities that are coming out against him, and the lies that they spread. And it's very easy to catch them out with these lies and to see what Trump actually said or what he was really sort of proposing than what he actually said than what they actually say he was. And I watched the whole Joe Rogan interview in its entirety. I've seen a lot of clips and videos of Donald Trump lately and what he's actually, proposing and his actual policies. And I like the man more and more. I've never previously liked him. I never thought I'd be saying that, but I think it's so, so important, both for American democracy and the future of the West in a lot of ways, that he wins this election. He must win. Trump must win.